you will watch on this podcast.
I believe AI and robotics and automation in general are schizophrenic technologies.
Our body is unique. There's no other body like us. We still don't know. It's still an article. We still didn't test it.
I believe new technologies will bring up surprises that we never expected.
Reinvent yourself. There's always new innovations. There are always new things happening. So how can you take advantage of that?
So guys, for me, this video is very, very strong. The silence in between words is even stronger than the words.
Welcome back to our Wellness Billion podcast, fam.
Hi, fellow dear wellness coaches and entrepreneurs. I'm Karim Amor, a life science entrepreneur for about 30 years.
And I'm Yassine Amor, a content creator for over 4 years with a following of over 2 million people.
Well, I just have 24,000 right now.
But he's going. He's into it. I put him into it, so now he's starting and he's doing pretty well.
I'm improving and learning a lot from this guy.
He's learning from me, but I'm learning from him. And that's the purpose again of this podcast. Don't forget, we're different generations. We will learn from each other. We discuss different topics. We have different points of views. And that's the beauty of this wellness podcast.
And we're supposedly interacting, not being totally aligned in several topics, right?
100%.
Okay,
100%. We have different point of views. It's okay. It's fine.
Okay, let's go.
All right. Today we're going to dive again in 3 different topics.
Yes, the first one will be about nutrition. So let me read it for you guys. Nutrition-rich rice developed in Beijing with meat cells grown on rice grain, which means they're mixed together. It aims to provide sustainable alternative to traditional meat production. It retains nutritional benefits on the regular rice while adding essential amino acids. Similar concepts explored in South Korea with cultured beef rice.
That's a huge topic. I mean, personally for me, I always eat meat and rice. I'm a meat and rice eater, and it's super easy to combine both. But now that this article is saying that actually they're gonna do rice out of meat, so rice is gonna have less carbohydrate and more protein, this is gonna be a game changer.
This is all about innovative food fusion. At the end of the day, we always try new things about food, and food is a very important topic. But let me come back a little bit with that food tweaking option. If you look at it, most of the food we eat today is food that was tweaked for years and years, which means take wheat. The wheat that was produced 100 years ago, or let's say just 70 years ago, has nothing to see with the feed we see today and we eat today. It was tweaked more than 10 times.
What is tweak?
Tweak is a kind of putting together different components to modify genetically the wheat and make it something else from what it was originally. So that means that along the time, the production capacity went to the roof.
So it's kind of a transformation, transforming the...
It is more than a transformation. It's a cellular changing. It's changed on a cellular level, which means this is why we talk about GMOs. What are GMOs? GMOs as genetically modified plants to be able to increase productivity, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, it does not look as the first one, as the initial one, as the original one. The more we tweak it until today, because if you look at it, you have to look at the nutritional value of it. So when I say it's 10 times folds different, which means it's 10 times less nutrition value for us than it was initially.
So for you, for example, it's going to be a game changer because you were pre-diabetic and you fought this kind of diabetes by removing carbs, removing sugar and all of that. And it worked. You reversed by doing that. And you consumed rice. For example, when we had a meal or something like this and we had rice on the side, you used to take that rice. But you stopped for, I think, several years, 2 years now. Now that there's going to be rice made out of meat or maybe combined, you could afford to consume more rice, right?
Well, it depends on what it has, because at the end of the day, when you do food fusion with another kind of protein or whatever you want to call it, you have to look at it on a mid-long run. We have means today. We could anticipate and know how it could be by doing some simulations. We work on simulations at 𝐒𝐿, by doing simulations on how the body should react on several things. But at the end of the day, the only way is to evaluate the product as made make it tested by people, and know how it involves. Because at the end of the day, if you do that by computer simulations, that'll give you a good and precise idea. But when you take it to the consumption of the people, then it becomes 8 billion people, 8 billion reactions.
Every individual reacts to the food in a different way anyways. It's not like, for example, if I'm eating a piece of meat, I'm going to react completely differently than you or than anyone else. Everyone has a different reaction to food. Our body is unique. There's no other body like us. We can predict what is going to happen by analyzing all the types of many samples of different bodies, and we can predict, but we can't be precise because every single one of us is different.
Yes, but at the end of the day, what we have to do also is cope with the regulations. Those are the slowest ones. So we know technically in our laboratory, in our research centers, that it's doable in an ethical way. But at the end, you have to convince government to adopt new regulations to adopt it. And look at it from another perspective. If you look at it from a sustainability, being able to grow rice, let's say rice is an example, with meat or fish in it, in a laboratory, and be able to reproduce the experience in a controlled environment makes it much more sustainable than growing meat in a farm. Because as you know, the beef contributes for a huge amount of carbon footprint worldwide. And if we could do that in a lab, that could be a game changer. But then you have to verify it through prospective simulations plus tests on human beings.
I can't wait to go through the supermarket and see those high protein rice. I'm a big rice eater. I want those high protein rices.
Because that's you. You're a high protein guy.
Yeah, I'm always high protein. My meals is always composed by, I think, 60 to 70% of protein. I don't know. I prioritize protein. I love protein. So I'm like, yeah, let's go for more protein. Okay, so combining both is a good thing. It's a good thing for nutrient, we don't know what it's going to look like. We still don't know. It's still an article. We still didn't test it. But what is it going to be for the agriculture industry?
Let me tell you something. At the end of the day, we have to choose between sustainability and respecting the carbon footprint. But as far as the farmers are concerned, it's a big thing also. Because if you look at it from the developed country perspective, you'll find out that it was the farmers, let's say 100 years ago, were probably more than half of the population. Today is not even 2%, which means you have bigger lands and fewer farmers. Now, look at it from the perspective of developing countries. We're still at the ratio of something like 40 for the farmers and 60 for the people in town out of the farming sector. We could collaborate with the farmers, do something like dual things, which will make farmers produce those types of food around the farm or in the laboratory they would build in the farm, like they do with when you go in the farm today, you see milk produced like it's a laboratory. Yeah. It's very heavily industrialized. Yeah, but when you enter, everything is clean, everything is smooth, machines are automated, everything is like an automated factory. So we could do that also for the food. And I'm anticipating, and I would see the farmers participate in this endeavor to be able to do it in the best way possible for everybody.
All right. Yeah, anyways, at the end of the day, you still need to know how to reinvent yourself. There's always new innovations. There are always new things happening. So how can you take advantage of that to become even better?
If by tech, we have to advance that fast, because I believe that sustainability will be solved by tech. That's my opinion. I believe new technologies will bring up surprises that we never expected. It will have a cost for humankind. We're going to talk about it in the third article. But at the end of the day, if tech has to solve the problem that we have today, either is by making food better for us or making the planet more sustainable, be my guest.
Yeah, I agree. With huge advancement in technology, we can know how we can make the planet better by being environmental friendly. We really want to know what you guys think, so let us know in the comments about this lab-produced rice, meat kind of thing, so we can maybe develop more into this thing. And I can't wait actually to see the news on this topic.
So let's get to the second article. The second article, as you know, with the structure of this podcast that we're doing with you guys, is about handling business methods to push wellness to thrive even more.
So this article is all about sponsoring on LinkedIn, and it says LinkedIn introduced sponsored newsletters alongside articles for lead generation. Companies can promote and gate newsletters content for more signups. Brands can sponsor own and future member authorized newsletter for visibility. And LinkedIn responds to 47 increase in newsletter engagement, plans to expand member authored articles in future updates.
Well, that's a huge thing, because if you look at LinkedIn since several years, it made tremendous progress. I'm not surprised by the advancement of LinkedIn. Since 3 years, LinkedIn is doing tremendous progress on the way it's adopted, on the tools they give to people. And what I like about LinkedIn, I would say it's a credible site. A lot of people speak about TikTok and on Instagram and those other sites, which you know probably better than I. But at the end of the day, there are sites that, for me, as a baby boomer, I think are credible. You have, for me, is a credible site. Moreover, today, that is handled on free speech. And I believe free speech is one of the most potent characteristics that human being deserves. And after everybody sorts, but LinkedIn, as far as professional relations are concerned, is for me one of the best to use, because it's credible and it has a way to, I would say, to moderate the social network. And it gives you tools to thrive in business, which are very, very strong tools. And I really recommend my team to use those tools, because they are fast, they are efficient, but also they encourage you to personalize whatever you're doing. Because at the end of the day, you can not just spam anybody like you were doing 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, paid advertising on LinkedIn is good, because actually you're going to reach a certain population, maybe like a more advanced population that is on LinkedIn. For me, LinkedIn was all about work. Whenever I used to use LinkedIn, I don't use it anymore. I know you're very active on LinkedIn, because I see your videos on LinkedIn, which is good, because you're kind of disrupting a bit what people do on LinkedIn. People only post articles and pictures. You started posting your reels, you started posting more videos on LinkedIn, and that's actually a very good thing to do. Personally, I'm not a LinkedIn person. I'm not someone that's going to post on LinkedIn, because when I went out of this kind of formal work environment, I went more into an informal environment, so which is social media like Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, which allows me to be informal and connect more with my community. On LinkedIn, it's more a professional community. On other social medias, it's more a personal community. I feel like it. I don't know about the freedom of speech on LinkedIn. I don't know what is regulated or not. Personally, the social media platform that really lets you talk, in my opinion, is TikTok. TikTok doesn't ban anything regarding freedom of speech. TikTok bans banned content that you're really not allowed to put, which is like gross content or whatsoever. There's people regulating all of that. But freedom of speech is 100% implemented into TikTok. About LinkedIn, yes, it's good to sponsor content on LinkedIn, but it costs a lot of money. And I've tried to sponsor some posts on LinkedIn during real estate, for example, and it didn't get us results. It didn't get us real results compared to other social media platforms. Now this article is new. We didn't try this new lead generation. Before, you used to put a lead generation that brings you to an outside page. Now what the article is telling you is that you're keeping yourself inside of LinkedIn and you're generating lead inside of LinkedIn.
Yes, but I believe, Yassine, that all this comes into the contextualization. Why is that? Because the population, the 2 million followers that you have, are not the same type of followers that I have. Who are my followers? They are mostly entrepreneurs and wellness coaches. So I'm good with 30, 40, 50,000 ones, because they are the targeted one and they're the ones I'm talking to. And you talk to a whole bunch of different profiles in your Instagram, for instance, or on YouTube. You are a life science guy. This is why you're part of the family doing what we do at Epineon. But also you are a person of a lifestyle. So you're a life science person and a lifestyle person. When you get into the lifestyle person and you teach people how to behave properly, eat properly, and so on and so forth, then you change the target and you change the context. If I want to go into a professional context, professionals, entrepreneurs, health coaches, I think we have to contextualize it, and the best way to funnel the message stays LinkedIn. And as far as the new option that LinkedIn gives, it allows you to spot on your newsletter to the right people with the right kind of message. And this is what is cheerful to me, because at the end of the day, what is important is that when I receive a newsletter or when I receive a message from LinkedIn, I believe strongly, formally, that is dedicated to me and not somebody else. And I think this LinkedIn does this pretty well. And it has to come from a good heart, which means that the person who emits the message has to emit it ethical way, so that people that are on the other end receiving it feel that it's for their good.
I agree to disagree. It's actually a good topic to talk about, because the past year, we've seen that doing free marketing works by only creating captivating content. For example, on LinkedIn, it's very hard to touch new people, to reach new people if you don't sponsor your posts.
Well, it depends on the people you want to reach.
It's hard to reach new people. That's what I'm talking about. It's hard to reach new people that doesn't know you. LinkedIn, it's more as a, I know you, or I have any interest in you, so I'm going to try to connect with you.
I had the reach curve yesterday from the team. It's pretty good. It's pretty good because the messages are targeted toward a population that knows what we're talking about. For whatever you do in the business, you have to target the people that need to have the information that you're offering. Not only need, but will be delighted to have it in order to put another perspective to their point of view. And those people, for us at 𝐒𝐿, which you're part of, are mainly wellness coaches and entrepreneurs. If you tell me, what about a painter? I would say, well, a painter will have a lifestyle through your site and probably some good nuggets about wellness on your site. But a painter is not someone that we target at 𝐒𝐿.
Yeah, I see what you mean. At the end of the day, it always depends. Personally, it always depends on your goals. I prefer to reach a maximum amount of people so that I can actually reach the right amount of people. So for example, if I put a post and it gets 1 million views, I know that out of this 1 million views, I targeted the people I wanted to target. If you put a post that gets like 1,000 views, 2,000 views, or 10,000 views, maybe you're going to reach the people that you want to reach, but you're missing out on so many other people that can actually bring you, and you can bring them as well a lot of value.
But the value you bring to them depends on their profile. So I don't agree when you say, well, I have to reach a maximum of people to reach the people I need to reach in this maximum of people. I believe I have a friend, by the way, she has 7,000 followers, but she has something like 80% engagement. Most of them are clients. And she cures them like nobody. She's really like a mother. And she's doing pretty good in business, by the way. She's over $10 million. And they're very happy. And some people that will enter into her site on LinkedIn, by the way, she will appreciate talking to them. She will give them time, and they will appreciate. You have to go into a higher ticket. But at the end of the day, you feel you're of service, and the people feel they're served and helped. So guys, what I would recommend is that if you have a broad audience, like Yassine has as an influencer, you can go to a broad audience and you'll target different people. Yassine targets a whole continent. But at the end of the day, when you want to target very precise people, because what you have to offer and when you have to share with them is in a very targeted niche, then do it in a niche way.
All right. Let us know, guys, what you think about this. There's people that prefer to have a small community and have a very targeted community. There's people like me that has like a big community and likes to have a big community and engage actually with the big community. So it always depends on your goals. It always depends on what you want and how you feel as well about it. So let's dive into the third article, which actually it's not an article. It's a video that we saw that really impact us. We're going to leave it here so you can see it.
So there really is no future for any of us in this room.
I don't want to be a downer here.
You're supposed to like, inspire people, not tell them they're not going to have a job.
So guys, for me, this video is very, very strong. Because if you notice, the silence in between word is even stronger than the words. Look at it again if you want. And you'll see what happens between the interviewer, which is the TED president, and Elon Musk is something really strong. We know Elon Musk needs time to respond, and he's actually right. But the way you saw his face, and this brings me to something that I wanted to share with you. I believe AI and robotics and automation in general are schizophrenic technologies. And I write it in my book, Renaissance Now. The whole purpose of my book, Renaissance Now, to show people that on one hand, they're looking at like the GPT technologies as a magical one. They're very happy when they ask something and they have the right response that they were not even thinking about. And at the same time, and it's written in my book, the HR department in the company they work in is getting them ready to be fired.
It's something that you told me a long time ago, and we were like, okay, now AI is going to replace some jobs. It's going to take over. We thought everything is going to go to the trash. We're going to lose so many jobs, and actually, a lot of people lost their job because of AI. The thing that we have to take here is how to use this technology to become better and irreplaceable. That's the way I look at things. I'm going to give you my example in my field, which is content creation. People use AI to be able to get topics, to be able to edit better, to be able to edit faster, to be able to do the repetitive tasks as well. But you'll never replace the human side of yourself. AI can't do it. I mean, for now, it can't do it. I don't know when it's gonna be able to do it. Maybe it is. I think thanks to AI, people are going to want to be more human, and we're going to need more human interaction because of AI. And that's why we need to learn how to work with AI to be able to be irreplaceable.
It's the purpose of the book again, is to synergize. So bear in mind, I'm a tech guy. So I think tech does magic. And you know, I'm a tech guy for 30 years. My belief is that for the sectors that is yours is a wrong example. Because you, as a human, as an influencer, you have to be human to influence. Although there are some digital AIs influencing people, avatars and so on. They do pretty good, but I don't believe they will last. Because at the end of the day, and I agree with you, and it's very subtle, what will count in the future is human relations. And we have to preserve those human relations. But let's look at jobs, really jobs. If you look at the figure that Elon Musk announced a while ago, the result of producing robots will be nearly 10 times the result that Tesla has today. 10 times the value of Tesla. I don't remember it's 6 or 10 times, but it's huge compared to cars. And in my book, Renaissance Now, in the first chapter, I tell a story of Sarah. Sarah in the book is a 45 years old lady, and she's driving her car in San Francisco, and one day she decided to take another type of car, which is an autonomous taxi. So she orders an autonomous taxi, and the autonomous taxi comes to her. The door is opened automatically. She enters the car, and she lives an experience that is in the book that I'm going to count to you in 2 minutes, which is that she feels first, she's scared because she's alone in the car. And she's scared because she's alone in the car. She doesn't know what's going to happen to her. Then the car starts to go toward the destination. And on the way of the destination, a lot of things are mixed in her brain. The first thing for her is to say, this wheel that they have in front of me is turning on its own. And then the second one comes and say, well, I used to drive my car. I'm driving my car nearly on a daily basis. But when I drive, my brain's works like a billion neurons are flying together. And now I'm just staying in the car like I have a driver. I don't do anything. But what about my brain shrinking? Not becoming alert enough, whatever can happen. Because when you drive, it's a very strong exercise for your brain. Your brain goes 1,000, 1 million folds. and exercise itself. And it doesn't happen when you don't drive anymore. And the third thought that she had was that isn't that also a way by the big tech company like us to shrink our brain and so that we become like sheep that we can control? It's more political thinking that she has at that moment than tech thinking. But at the end of the day, the media to do it is tech.
It's, this is like crazy because there's different types of thinking. For example, I would love to have a self-driving car, not because I don't like driving or whatsoever. I like driving from time to time. But the thing of like having a self-driving car will save me time because while I will be in the car, I'll be working and being more productive. So the time that I spend in the car 1 or 2 hours a day, those 1 or 2 hours a day are going to be to work and be more productive. Other people are going to be like, oh, but you're going to lose your reflex, but driving, but you're gonna give your life to a machine or whatsoever. I believe that machines, robots, it's a robot. It's a normal car, but it's powered by AI, which is a robot. Is safer than an actual human being. Why? Because this happened to us. When we're driving and we receive a text, we automatically shift our head and look at the text. This shifting our head and look at the text can cost you your life. The AI will never do that. The AI will never receive a text and shift their head and be like, oh, I received the text, let's read the text or whatsoever. Let's respond even, take our phone and respond to that text. So you're putting your life in jeopardy, which is bad. So having those autonomous cars, for me, it's going to be life-changing because I'm going to save so much time. I'm going to be like more productive.
So talk about yourself. And you're right. So what about the driver? Let me finish the story. When she went back from the hospital, because she was going to the hospital and she found out she had a metabolic syndrome. When she went back, she went with the taxi driver and she started talking to him. And while she was talking to him, there was Jeffrey Hinton, the AI, the inventor, one of the inventors of AI, on the radio, saying that AI is getting a kind of autonomous, independent. And the interviewer was asking him about the dangers of having those kinds of AI that can self-develop themselves and that and they asked to him the questions, why did you leave Google? And the answer was, because I developed some AI that I could not understand anymore, which means that you leave your hands to something that you invented and you look at life and say, okay, what is going to happen? Mm-hmm. Nobody knows. But let's come back to the fact that you were able to do whatever you wanted in the car. You are what you are. You're nearly irreplaceable, first for me as your father, mm-hmm. but secondly, for what you do. Why? Because you're human talking to human. What about the trucks? What about the guys that are working in the area that are linked to the taxi driver, helping him out do his job properly or helping him out or whatever?
I agree. Those jobs may disappear.
Okay.
But let me give you a simple example. When we used to produce cars, it used to be produced handmade. Every single part of the car was handmade. Now everything is automated. But people found a way to get another thing and another thing, and it keeps on evolving. You see what I mean? Like AI is not new. People think AI is new, but AI exists for a long time. We just gave it that name of AI, artificial intelligence. But machines are here for a long, 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 long time.
The difference, yes, I don't agree with your perspective on AI. AI is the first species. I call it species because it's going to be so powerfully intelligent that it will overpass the human intelligence in nearly 2-3 months from now. And I think, and you know it, I write it in the book, that AGI will come in less than 2 years. This is an announcement that I make in the book, but I explain why. Coming back to jobs, the problem of AI is that when you go into ChatGPT, for instance, to do something and ask a question about marketing or about a geopolitical problem or about the position of your company or whatever, you find the response very evident. Well, you have to know something. First, AI coming from what we call LLM hallucinate. That's part of our engineers are trying to solve, and you'll get to know about it in few weeks. Hallucination, so imprecision, can take a company to the wall. Now, when you say we can get to know things and so on, and it will give me ideas, enhance my work. That's right, but it can also take the job of those guys that today you work with, that are doing some of your marketing, that are giving you the strategy, and so on and so on. And those guys are very well paid, and you know about it, and when I know about it. What are they going to do? They're going to switch? Okay. How long are they going to switch? They're going to switch for 1 week, 6 months, 1 year. I believe we live in a chronicle uncertainty. That's what I write in my book. And this chronicle uncertainty is very strong because every single day a new AI comes out. And it tells to the AI that was held before, you know nothing. Here is how to proceed. Here is how to do. And when you see the quantum of what is going on the AI arena, you find out that it's much more intelligent than it was about 6 months ago, even 1 week ago. It does so many good things in a perfect way so that you cannot even detect whether it's a human or an AI. It gets very subtle on the way they approach problems, to the extent that sometimes I believe it's a kind of, I would say, sentient AI in some things. I tell you why. Because when we are working on the hallucination-free technologies that we're developing, we found out that when you put it in the context, it worked. But when you put it out of the context, it doesn't work anymore. So we developed what we call the context holding that allows the truth, so the precision, so the hallucination-free, to be in a context. So when you allow the context and some precision in what you give and what you get back, then you get even more human than you were expecting to be.
I couldn't agree more. But that's why, again, I'm gonna rebound on this. It's all about knowing how to use this technology to become better, and not because a lot of people actually, and this is a human. They're gonna be like, oh, excuse me the term, shit, AI is gonna take my job, AI is gonna take my place. But the real mindset to have is, how can I use this AI to become better at what I do?
Yes, if you look at Renaissance Now is a perspective book. It tells you this is what's gonna happen, this is what's happening, this is what's gonna happen, this is the impact, the probable impact, this is what I think we can do to avoid some crash. And at the end of the day, if you look at jobs, are we made to work or are we made to live? Because at the end of the day, when you look at human, we are human beings. So we need to be. And I believe, and I write it in the book, when I say in the chapter, I think it's chapter 10, it's about ethics. And on ethics, what I say is that we have to redefine the notion of job. Because what is the notion of job? It's only the notion that we gave it. At the end of the day, if you look at job with another perspective, it could be contribution, it could be sharing, all these capitalist world that we have can be tweaked to an added value world where you can live in a kind of capitalist environment, but at the end of the day, this capitalist environment comes from another angle than the actual definition that we have on job, which is getting from your home at 8 o'clock in the morning, getting by at 6, 7 o'clock.
It's an endless topic that we could actually develop and talk about, because there's different perspectives, there's different opinions, and we want you guys to let us know as well, what do you think about this topic on the comments, like usual. But I think this rounds up a bit what we wanted to discuss today, and I hope you guys enjoyed these topics. I hope you guys had a good moment with us and you learned actually a lot. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification button so you don't miss the next podcast.
See you next week, guys.